There is kind of a simple game plan that you can learn to play any character in Virtua Fighter. Just step. Just step! It works! Just step! P, 6P, and 2P. PPP.
Hello, Theo here. Virtua Fighter 6 is on the horizon somewhere, and in preparation for it I've been playing a lot of Virtua Fighter 5. I'm still new to the series. I played when I was a kid mashing on Virtua Fighter 4, but learning the game, I picked it up with Revo. So I wanted to create this guide of everything I've been picking up and learning as a beginner for beginners. So let's start off with the basics. So Virtua Fighter is a 3-button game. Punch, kick, guard. This is a hold to guard game, sort of like Soul Calibur, DOA, games like that. But yeah, it's a 3-button game and the buttons can be combined. So punch and kick is your grab, kick and guard is going to be like usually your full circulars, things like that's usually going to be kick techniques. Punch and kick will usually be like your signature moves, things that you'll have for like your martial arts style. And then punch, kick, and guard can be a lot of different things. Certain characters it's a stance, some characters it's like a parry. For Jean it is a parry move. But yeah, it's only 3 buttons, which is pretty easy to remember. It feels really comfortable on your hands when you're playing because you have your movement stuff, and then 3 buttons and that's it. So the other big thing that you'll notice on the screen is that there's no gauges, no meters, nothing like that. There's no comeback mechanic in this game. It is pretty much just slugging it out. You don't need to worry about somebody having a super or anything like that. There's also not really any super armor in this game, although there are plenty of parries, so you'll need to be careful of that, but there's not really any super armor, except for like 2 characters. They do technically have armored moves, but it's not a commonplace thing. Like the characters you'd expect to have armor, everybody else doesn't. The next big thing you should know about Virtua Fighter is that it's a very aggressive game. It's very fair in the way that it handles everything. There's always answers for every situation. You're never trapped. It's very rarely that you're truly trapped in this game, but it's incredibly aggressive. There is a lot of do move into plus frames like that. There's a lot of just crazy situations that you can get put in, but it is all mitigated because everything has counters. And with that said, the biggest thing that counters everything is the stepping. So stepping in this game kind of just works. So you'll see here when I jab, I'm +2, I can step. I do this boot, I'm -6, I can step. -3, oops, that was me. I can step. -8, I can step. It is really powerful because the step in this game has an animation associated with it, so it's almost like a parry. So it has an animation associated with it. So if you fail the step, you'll see, here, I just kind of, I stepped too late. I stepped too late, and the animation didn't happen. So it's one of those things that, stepping in this game is incredibly reliable. If you know how to step, it will always work. If they're doing strings, sometimes the strings can realign, but you just keep stepping then. But other than that, stepping just works because it's more frame dependent than it is spatially dependent, and there's an animation associated with it. When you step, you will always step. So essentially what I'm saying is just step. It just works. Just do it. It doesn't look, I'm -7. Just step. Just step. It works. Just step. But due to the step being so reliable, this game becomes an extremely aggressive game in movement as well as in just putting out raw buttons, because this game, the way it kind of handles itself is that it relies on you having the knowledge to step. You can obviously hold the guard button and block, but a lot of time when you're interacting in this game, you're going to be wanting to do a lot of stepping and moving around because the step is so powerful. This also means that there are strong counters to the step though. So you'll see it here on screen. There's circular attacks, which will cover somebody stepping left or right. There's also half circular attacks, which will cover somebody stepping in one direction. Mechanically, this is one of the ways that you can stop people from stepping, is by using these circulars or half circular moves. But the other big thing that's really important to Virtua Fighter in general is the throws, because the throws track in this game. So throws are tracking, which means that if somebody's trying to step and you hit throw, it'll always catch them. So let's talk a little bit about the Virtua Fighter triangle. So I'm going to put this triangle up on screen here. This is a pretty basic fighting game principle in general, the strike, throw, block thing. However, it's a lot more potent in Virtua Fighter than most games, because you can't tech throws on reaction. You have to be teching them before the throw happens. If you're grabbed, like if you already get hit by the animation, that's it. You can't get out of it. For my beginners, since this is what we're talking about, teching is, there's 3 types of techs. There's you hold down guard and then hold down punch. You hold down guard, punch, and back, or guard, punch, and forward. So there's 3 types: neutral, forward, back. That's how you do your techs. If you're not holding that before somebody grabs you, if you're not holding the tech beforehand, you're going to get grabbed. Because of this, it makes the strike, throw, block game much more dangerous, because when you're striking, you're entirely invincible to throws. So you can see right there, I can't grab him because he's striking. On frame 1 of pressing any button to attack, you are invincible to throws. And if you're blocking, obviously, strikes can't get through, although stepping is incredibly powerful against that. Obviously, blocking beats striking. But the throw thing is really important to keep in mind, because you can't tech after you've been grabbed. It makes the throw game much more dangerous, but also throws are more risky, because if you're putting out a throw and somebody just goes, hey, launcher, by the way, like they're invincible to that, so you're just going to eat the launcher. So it's extremely important to remember that throws lose to punches, and that throws are incredibly powerful, so you don't want to block too much, you don't want to step too much, so you also need to be striking. And this is part of what creates this extremely aggressive game in Virtua Fighter, because striking is powerful, stepping is powerful, throws are powerful, so you want to be striking, but if you're striking you might get stepped, and it becomes like this amalgamation of like, you have all these options and everything is fair and everybody has all the same options, but it's just dangerous at all times. It feels a little bit like an anime game when it comes down to like damage and pace sometimes, because you're just trying to get this guy and kill him before he kills you. Because throws are so powerful, ducking actually becomes much more important in this game than a lot of other like 3D fighters. Ducking is a very strong option in this game, because while there is a lot of like wild launchers and stuff like that, you're not going to see it as often as you would in a lot of other games, because throws are just so powerful. People will use that a lot for punishes and stuff like that, so you want to keep in mind to duck in this game a little more than you would in a lot of other games, well, other 3D games. Virtua Fighter has very unique characters. They're very locked into whatever martial art they play, and they all have unique play styles. Like John has this like charging play style, and he does like the traditional traditional karate, and he's a really cool character. I like him. He's my favorite. But even with all the uniqueness of each character in the cast, there is kind of a simple game plan that you can learn to play any character in Virtua Fighter. For almost every character in the game, their 3 most important buttons are P, 6P, and 2P, PPP. The main reason that these 3 buttons are so powerful is 5P is the fastest move that almost every character has. 6P is your fastest, usually best mid check if you're not launching somebody. And 2P is your fastest low check. Now 2P can be blocked standing, but it's probably one of the best buttons every character has. It just works really well to just interrupt things, to stop people from doing stuff. It's an incredibly fast button. It's as fast as your jab. The only thing faster than the jab and the 2P is your throw. Throws are 10 frames. So again, throws are super powerful. You want to be careful of that. 2P beats throws. So when you're first playing the game, you can kind of play a lot of it just going jab, 6P, 2P. It works really well. Every character can do it. And then if people can step this, these are very linear. Those are all very linear. So what do? You just grab them. So you can start with a core game plan where you're just going jab, 6P, 2P, throw, and that is a valid strategy to start with. You can do that with any character at any given time, and it works really well. The last main thing I want to talk about is kind of the get-up game. So get-ups in Virtua Fighter are a little bit different from a lot of other games because you get a lot of invincibility on wake-up. So the attacker actually has to do some more creative stuff in order to beat wake-ups. So if you hit the ground, you can just tech immediately by tapping all 3 buttons at the same time. You can roll in different directions. You hold down to roll towards the screen. You hold up to roll away from the screen. But where things really get interesting is when you start using your kicks. So when you're laying on the ground, you can tap kick, and that is entirely invincible. That is completely invincible. It is like a Shoryuken. It doesn't do a lot of damage. It doesn't give you any sort of favorable situation, but you can also do it low, and you're totally invincible. And it is very powerful. There's some other wake-up options that are unique to each individual character, but the fact that you have the invincible kicks, you have the instant rolls, which are also invincible, there is a possibility to create some weird oaky situations with the roll and stuff like that. I'm not trying to give you any detailed stuff on the wake-up game, but that's basically it. Is you tap all 3 buttons to roll, you use kicks to wake yourself up. So you can do a back roll, you can do a couple other things, but that's like your basic stuff. And you as the defender actually have a lot of power because you have a lot of invincibility. You just need to not be predictable because people can stay right on top of you. There's one thing you want to make sure you're not doing is constantly spamming these kicks. They are, I think, minus 12 or something like that, so they're like jab punishable. And they're very predictable. You can actually do like a jump back into launcher and it will beat the get-up kicks, so don't spam them. But they are incredibly useful. Don't not use them. And that's all I really have for you today. I just wanted to kind of show off this game that I've been playing. I'm really excited about Virtua Fighter 6, and I wanted to help out people who were struggling with learning some basic stuff about the game, because it is a little bit esoteric. There is newer things out there. I know Rooflemonger did a pretty good video on it, and I'm pretty sure Diaphone did some stuff about it. So go check out everybody else's videos about this, but I just kind of wanted to give you the beginner's perspective on learning this game. As always, get out there and support your locals, or you can come support mine.